The picture arrived via text. A casual acquaintance. Thought you might want to see this. My ex-husband, beaming, stood beside his new wife, his affair partner. My stomach lurched, the world tilted. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not like this. Not after the promises, the shared tears, the hope of rebuilding. He had vowed to change. We had both clung to the wreckage of our marriage, desperate to salvage something for our child. Intimacy, raw and vulnerable, became our fragile bridge. We were broken, both of us, reaching for comfort in the familiar. It felt for a fleeting moment like a reconciliation. The photo shattered that illusion. The woman in the picture, her hand tucked possessively in his, was a stark reminder of the betrayal. The intimacy we'd shared, the vulnerability I'd foolishly allowed myself to feel, now felt cheapened, tainted. It was a cruel joke, and I was the punchline. The sting of betrayal was sharper this time. It was public, undeniable. The image seared into my mind was a constant reminder of his deceit. The pain was visceral, a physical ache that took my breath away. The early days after our separation were a blur of tears and recriminations. Yet, amidst the wreckage, there were moments of unexpected tenderness. We were bound by grief, by the shared pain of our shattered family. We found solace in each other's arms, a dangerous dance of familiarity and despair. He spoke of regret, of the mistakes he'd made. He promised to be better for our child, for us. I wanted so desperately to believe him, to believe that we could somehow find our way back to each other, to rebuild the life we had lost. The intimacy, though laced with sadness, offered a glimmer of hope. It felt at times like a return to our former selves. We laughed together, shared meals, even ventured out for walks, our hands brushing. It was a fragile truce, a temporary reprieve from the storm that had engulfed us. Looking back, I realize it was a cruel illusion. He was buying time, creating a facade of remorse while continuing his affair. I was a fool to be comforted by his touch, to mistake his guilt for genuine love. The intimacy, once a source of solace, now felt like a violation, a betrayal of the trust I had so naively offered. The truth, as always, eventually surfaced. A text message, mistakenly sent to my phone, revealed the depth of his deception. He was still seeing her, even as he held me in his arms, whispering apologies. The betrayal was a physical blow, a punch to my gut that left me gasping for air. The lies, it turned out, ran deeper than I could have imagined. Secret meetings, whispered phone calls, a carefully constructed web of deceit. The man I thought I knew, the father of my child, was a stranger. The pain was amplified by the realization that I had been played. He had used my vulnerability, my desperate hope for reconciliation, to his advantage. He had manipulated me, offering crumbs of affection while continuing his affair without a shred of remorse. The discovery sent me reeling. The ground beneath me crumbled, leaving me lost and broken. I had been a fool to believe his lies, to allow myself to be drawn back into his web of deception. Co-parenting with him felt like navigating a minefield. Every interaction was fraught with tension, the unspoken history hanging heavy between us. His new wife, a constant presence in his life, was a painful reminder of his betrayal. I tried, for our child's sake, to maintain a semblance of civility. We were, after all, united in our love for our child. But the effort felt gargantuan, a heavy weight I carried on my shoulders. Our child, caught in the crossfire, was too young to understand the complexities of adult relationships. Yet I saw the confusion in his eyes, the unspoken questions about why Daddy lived with another woman, a woman who wasn't Mommy. Explaining the situation to him in age-appropriate terms was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. How do you explain betrayal to a child? How do you shield them from the pain of their parents' mistakes without poisoning their love for either parent?